let's begin with some international updates that we are picking up. At least 12 people have been shot dead in the Sadrist protests that have been reported in Baghdad, where the announcement of the withdrawal of the politics of the influential Shia cleric Muqtada Al-Sadr had put out Iraq on ropes, whereafter thousands of his followers took to the streets over the presidential and the government palaces in Baghdad in demonstrators that has resulted at least in 12 people losing their lives. After more than 10 months of political paralysis that has been continuing in the Arab nation due to the inability of the fragmented parliament to choose a new president and form a stable government. What are we looking at, Srinjoy, as we continue to watch all of these protest pictures that are coming in from Baghdad?
Well, Iraq is a very strange case because Iraq is one of the few countries which has a Shiite majority. 60% of all Iraqis are Shiites. The other 40% or less are Sunnis and other things. Now the point is, Shiites, despite being a majority, have never had political power. Let's not forget that Saddam Hussein was a Sunni. Now this is the one major opportunities that the Iraqi Shia see, that Al-Sadr is their man. He is their man and can be their leader in a top position. Now when Al-Sadr withdraws from the race, then there is clearly a kind of vacuum that is created. And this is something the Shiite leadership and the followers are not very happy about, which is why you have seen these huge protests. 12 to 15 people have been killed. We don't know how it's going to end because this is just started. So will Al-Sadr turn around and say, no, I will get back into politics, I will continue to be in the presidential race and so on. We will have to see what happens. But this is the beginning of perhaps a huge amount of turmoil in Iraq. The fact that the Shias, who have been a majority, have never had a say in the government, and they are very, very keen to have that now, particularly through Al-Sadr, is really the point.
Right, but Srinjoy, what exactly is the move and the thought process when Al-Sadr made an announcement that he's quitting political life for good and closing his political offices? That has prompted protests and widespread protests by his supporters and leading to deadly violence.
Yes, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what has happened. The question is Al-Sadr doing it as a tactical move, or does he really want to quit politics? Because this, even for Al-Sadr, going ahead is not always easy. As I said, Shias, for whatever reason, have never had political power in Iraq. Even though they form the majority of the people of Iraq, about 60% of all Iraqis are Shias. The neighboring Iran is one other country which has a Shia majority. There are very, very few, perhaps 3 or 4 countries. Iraq is one of them. And yet, despite being a majority, Shias have never had much of a political role.
Clashes and violence being reported that has led to the death of at least 12 to 15 supporters there, as they are continuing with their protests outside the presidential palaces in Baghdad. For the moment, thank you very much, Srinjoy, for joining in. Let's move back to domestic updates.